guys! Today let's talk about Kyoto. Kyoto is such a beautiful Japanese city, and it's often, I suppose it's like second in line to Tokyo when people think of Japan, but first in line when people think of traditional Japan. So Kyoto is actually the former capital city of Japan, which is kind of interesting. They changed that a couple of years ago over to Tokyo, and it's definitely famous for the geisha. Now, when we were there, we actually didn't see any geisha, and maybe it's because we didn't go to the right part of town, but what we did see was a ton of temples, a ton of gardens, and a ton of beautiful, beautiful structures. Kyoto is famous for places like the Golden Temple. We went there. We were there, I swear. It was real pretty. It's also famous for those vermilion Fushimi Inari Taishi, the long tunnel of them. That was said so well. I hope that you guys really understood what I was trying to say. I'll put a picture up and that will do it. When we were there, we also went to... That's the home of the beautiful bamboo forests, and it has a lot of other beautiful lookouts and park places and Buddhas and all of this stuff. It's so gorgeous. What I totally recommend doing is renting some bikes and biking all over the place. Kyoto is a very bike-friendly city, and biking in Japan is amazing because you can see so much, and it's something that a lot of people do, so it's not like out of the norm to be biking. But it was so much fun. So we took our bikes and we went to forest and parked our bikes, and we walked through the forest, and then we got lost afterwards. It was really cool. But yeah, it was great because we got to see so much more than you probably would have in a train or a car, but it also allowed us to cover a lot greater of a distance than we would have been able to when we are just walking around. So tons of fun. And then some of the shrines that are listed here: Shimogamo Shrine, and that's supposedly over 2,000 years old. You also have the Kamo Shrine, which is a 7th century Shinto shrine. Kozanji, which is a Buddhist temple, famous for its historic scrolls, drawings, and artifacts. Kyoto is basically like the history of Japan. So if you want to see really traditional artwork, homes, geishas, go to Kyoto. And what's cool is that it is right next door to Osaka, which is pretty citified compared to Kyoto. And so you can get a pretty cool contrast. And Osaka is really famous for the food, supposedly is amazing. We haven't been there yet, but it's on our to-do list. Yeah, back to Kyoto. That's where we found some markets that we were able to just kind of come upon. They were held in a temple or a shrine. I don't remember which one it was, but we walked around. They had a bunch of food stalls. They also had a bunch of people who made crafts and brought things to sell. And it was a really fun experience to go to. I feel like we didn't experience as much of Kyoto just because we were only there for 3 days. So we were limited to what we could see, but I recommend going. I think Kyoto is a really amazing place. Again, if you want to step back into Japan's history, Kyoto is a great place for that because they have maintained so many of the buildings and they maintain so many of the cultural traditions there that it's a great experience.
And that's also one of the places that we got to go into the restaurants where you actually sit on the floor in the tatami mats and you have to take your shoes off. It was so much fun. I don't know why I like that stuff, but I really do. It's really not comfortable, but it was a ton of fun.
So how we got to Kyoto is we took the Shinkansen from Tokyo, and the Shinkansen is the bullet train, and we got our JR passes, and you can only get that if you are a foreigner. And so you go on their website and check it out and see how to do it from your country. If you're from the US, you basically just order it, and it comes within like 5 to 6 weeks, I think. So make sure that you are on top of that and get it before you need to leave. And that was about $500, I think, for 2 tickets for 7 days of utilizing it. And then while we were there, if we didn't ride the bikes or walk, we did take the bus a couple of times, and that was fine. It was one of those ones that you got on the back and then went to the front and got off the front. I didn't experience that anywhere else in Japan, but just there. So I'm not sure if it's unique to Kyoto or if it's just that one bus was weird, or maybe I just dreamed that up and it didn't really happen. Kyoto also has a big theater and film community there. It's where they film a lot of the historic Japanese programs that you see. And apparently they have their own unique dialect. Obviously, when we went, we had no idea because we're not super fluent in Japanese. But I'm sure that would be like going to LA to the Midwest or from the South to the North. You know, everybody has a little bit of a different accent going on, and sometimes we utilize different terms and words and things like that. It would be really interesting to get to know the Japanese language and then be able to to pick out the differences in the dialects, but that's something further down the line, and most of us probably who are just traveling and visiting will have no idea, so I don't know where I'm going with that. So if you are planning a trip to Japan, I definitely think that Kyoto should be one of those spots on your itinerary. It's about a 4-hour trip, 3 to 4 hour trip with the Shinkansen from Tokyo to Kyoto. Totally worth it. The Shinkansen was super fun for at least the first 30 minutes, and then it's like riding any other sort of transportation where you just take a nap and then you arrive, and it's super great. And I definitely recommend going to Osaka as well if you are already over in Kyoto. We didn't do that because we kind of just didn't know that it was there. It just didn't occur to me that that could have been part of our game plan. But now you know because you watched this video, so you can put that into your itinerary. And if you like this video, give it one of those big old thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment if you want. Hopefully a nice one, but that's cool. And you can check out all my social media platforms, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!